You've probably seen a lot of airplanes in your life. Big ones, small ones, expensive ones, budget ones. But have you ever stopped to notice something weird? They're almost all white. Seriously, why? We paint our cars every color in the rainbow. Phones come in 5 different shades of titanium. Even refrigerators are allowed to be black now. But airplanes? White, white, white. With maybe a little red or blue sticker on the tail. Where are the black planes? The red ones? Matte green, chrome, gold. Well, it's not about fashion. It's not about laziness. And it's definitely not about a lack of imagination. White aircraft exist for very specific, very practical, and surprisingly scientific reasons. Let's talk about them. Paint, not just paint. Let's get this out of the way. Painting an airplane is not like painting a wall. It's not a weekend project. It's not decorative. It's an engineering decision. The color of a plane affects how hot it gets, how often it needs maintenance, how much it weighs, how expensive it is to operate, and even how safe it is. So yeah, color matters a lot, more than you'd think. White paint keeps planes cool. Here's the first reason: temperature. White reflects sunlight. Dark colors absorb it. So when a plane sits on the tarmac in the blazing sun, which it often does for hours, a white surface stays relatively cool. But a black or dark painted plane, it bakes. The surface can get 20 to 30 degrees Celsius hotter, sometimes more. That heat seeps into the cabin, into the wiring, into the electronics. The air conditioning works harder, systems wear out faster, and passengers complain louder. White paint helps keep things cool. Literally. White makes it easier to spot damage. Next up, safety. Before every flight, ground crews do a quick inspection of the aircraft. They're looking for anything unusual: leaks, cracks, dents, paint chips, oil streaks. Guess what color makes that easiest? Yep, white. White paint makes even the tiniest problems visible. Dark paint? Not so much. That's why even airlines that use some color usually stick to a white base. It's not just about looks, it's about catching problems before they become dangerous. Paint adds weight and fuel costs. Painting a plane adds a lot of weight. Depending on the size of the aircraft, paint can add up to 250 kilograms. That's like flying around with 3 extra passengers who never pay for tickets. Now imagine doing that on every flight, every day, for years. That's extra fuel, extra emissions, and extra costs. And darker paints? They often require more layers, which means even more weight. In the world of aviation, every kilo counts. So, simpler paint equals cheaper flights. There's also this problem: UV light. Airplanes spend a lot of time flying above the clouds, way closer to the sun than you and I are used to. That sunlight slowly fades and damages paint over time. White fades the least. Dark paint, it fades fast, unevenly, and badly. A white paint may look sleek for the first year. Then it starts turning purple, brown, or gray in weird patches. It's expensive to fix, and it makes the plane look old and beat up, which isn't exactly the image most airlines are going for. White planes are easier to sell. Here's something most people don't know. Airlines don't keep planes forever. They lease them, sell them, trade them, repaint them, rebrand them. White makes this easy. Just slap on a new logo and tail design, boom, new airline. But if a plane is painted all black, or bright red, or covered in detailed graphics, that's a whole repaint job. takes days, costs hundreds of thousands of dollars, and grounds the plane the entire time. So, white is like the default iPhone color. Easy to customize, easy to resell, safe bet. White is more eco-friendly. Here's one more factor, the environment. Heavier planes use more fuel. More fuel equals more carbon emissions, and more emissions equals bigger climate impact. So white paint keeps weight down. It also keeps the aircraft cooler, meaning less energy spent on cooling systems. So yeah, white paint is surprisingly green. Passengers trust white planes more. Weird, but true. When people see a white plane, it feels, well, clean, safe, normal. But when they see a black or gray or brightly painted plane, it might look strange, heavy, wrong somehow. That might not stop you from flying, but for nervous passengers, even subtle things like color can affect how they feel. And airlines pay attention to that stuff. Okay, but what about the cool-looking planes? There are a few exceptions. Some airlines go bold. Air New Zealand has black planes. ANA had a Star Wars-themed jet. Etihad and Qatar sometimes use gold or metallic finishes. Also, private jets go wild. Matte black, chrome, even gold. But these are rare and expensive. They look amazing on Instagram, but they cost way more to operate and maintain. And when they fade or chip, they lose that cool factor pretty fast. Military planes aren't white either, but that's different. Now, what about military aircraft? Those are gray, black, even camouflaged. Right, but they have very different goals. They're not trying to stay cool, look clean, or save fuel. They're trying to avoid radar, hide in the sky, and they don't care about resale value. So yeah, fighter jets aren't white, but they don't fly you to Miami. Can you paint a plane black? Sure, but why would you do that? You can make a black plane. Nobody's stopping you. But you'll pay more, a lot more, in heat, in fuel, and repainting costs, in resale headaches. White may look boring, but in aviation, boring is smart. Closing. Let's sum it up. So now you know, planes aren't white because airlines are lazy, but because it makes scientific and economic sense. White color keeps planes cooler, makes inspections easier, weighs less, costs less, ages better, resells faster, is better for the environment, and still looks pretty good doing it. So, next time you see a white plane, give it some respect. That's not just paint, that's physics, chemistry, and economics working together. Now, here's a question for you. If you could paint your own airplane in any color at all, what would it be? Drop it in the comments. Bonus points if it's not white. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to Airborne Archive so not to miss the next videos. Bye-bye.